What's up, guys, and welcome back to the DualSense podcast. This is episode 90. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason, and I'm joined, as always, this evening by your other co-host. His name this evening on Zencaster is Blind Ronnie Millsap, also known as Travis. Travis, what's going on?
Not much. You know, there's so many Ronnie Millsaps. I just wanted to make sure you knew I meant the blind one.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
Ronnie Millsap, that guy can play the piano.
Yeah, he can, and which is amazing because he can't see. Also, I could have put Black Ronnie Millsap, like the one that plays basketball for the Jazz.
That was Paul Millsap. Yeah. He no longer plays for the Jazz, by the way.
Whatever he does.
Pretty sure he's not even in the league anymore. I don't know.
Oh, is he blind and playing the piano?
That would make him Ray Charles.
And we've come full circle.
I'm Ray Charles and that bullshit. All right. Well, Travis, anything good going on? What do you know?
No, I went to dinner with my parents and I have a pimple on my arm down by my elbow, which started off as I guess it was I don't really know what it was. It was just a bump, and I tried to get the hair out of it, I guess, and then it festered up. And by festered up, I mean it just turned red and got really big, and it looks like I've been shooting heroin. So that's pretty cool.
Well, it could just be an ingrown hair. It might not. You may not get any satisfactory pop out of that.
An ingrown heroin.
And nothing wrong with a little ingrown heroin. Little toot.
So, if I'm lucky, they'll cut it off like in Requiem for a Dream.
God Almighty, what a movie! What an experience, man! Only watch it one time, guys. Don't watch it more than once. Well, for me, I'm not drinking coffee tonight. You'll be glad to hear that. No coffee this evening. A little bit of leftover pizza for dinner and watched a little basketball. And now here I am with Blind Ronnie Millsap doing a podcast. Anyway, Travis, we are a weekly podcast where you and I get together and we discuss all things PlayStation from the last week, like news, rumors, new games, and much more. We do it all in under 90 minutes, and we post new episodes every Monday on all of the usual podcast services, as well as YouTube, where we also share gameplay videos. And I have some excellent WWE 2K22 footage on the channel right now for you all. Little tag team action and part of it that I'll talk about a little bit later. And you can also find us on social media. If you'd like to talk with us, hit us up on Twitter at the DualSense Pod. You can also find us on Instagram, where I share some virtual photography from games like Horizon Forbidden West is what I've been obviously posting lately. I need to actually post something tonight. Also, you can find us on Facebook, and we also have a blog. It is the DualSensePodcast.wordpress.com. So you can find us all kinds of places. And without further ado, Travis, let's get into the news here. And it's not a news week with a lot of big ticket news items. It's a very low key news week, but that just typically means that something big is coming. And my theory is that we're going to get a God of War Ragnarok state of play next week. So we'll see. But anyway, let's get into the news here, starting with number one. PlayStation and developer Warner Brothers Games Avalanche Software gave us our first real look at Hogwarts Legacy in a state of play stream this week. The presentation included around 14 minutes of gameplay, and it covered all of the bases, including character creation, combat, RPG systems, talents and abilities, exploration, story, and a look at the world in various environments. The game takes place during the late 1800s in a time before Harry Potter and sees players enter the academy as a fifth year, which apparently is a bad thing, who has quite a bit to catch up on, I should say, as they unravel a mystery behind an ancient magic that has reappeared.
Wow. Sounds like the books. Like, is that every time there's a class, every new class, there's a fucking ancient mystery?
Avalanche also made it clear that the game is a single-player action RPG, and it will not include any microtransactions. Hogwarts Legacy will launch on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 sometime this holiday, they have said. So did you watch any of this, or what do you have any thoughts?
Did I watch this? Of course not.
Come on, man. We're a PlayStation podcast.
I know. It was on my it's on my radar, right? YouTube was like, hey, you should watch this. And I was like, you're right. And then I didn't.
I knew you wouldn't.
See, well, here's the thing I like about it. It's in the late 1800s. Great
Mhm.
time period. In between some stupid wars Germany started, which will be 3 in a row. I like the whole industrial weirdness of it. It's
Mhm.
around when Sherlock Holmes came around. It's all the fun stuff that I enjoy. The London smog,
Mhm.
everything there is to love about Great Britain's empire is still there. When I see this game, it reminds me of when I read about like Star Wars lore. Like I see the appeal. I like the appeal. Like the idea of the appeal, right? It's like I love the idea of dating a supermodel, but it probably would suck. She's always busy. There's hotter guys. It just would be
Mm.
awful, right?
Mhm.
That's how I feel about these games. Like so much stuff. It's so overwhelming. I'm so far behind on all of the lore that I'm not sure I could ever fully enjoy it the correct way. So it just seems overwhelming. But I will say that I think this game is going to be very popular. I think it's going to score really well. Is the feeling I get from this. I did read the reactions online, and a lot of people had Harry Potter boners. So
Every bonus.
and they were there you go, that was good. And the lack of microtransactions is always a refreshing touch. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
think it'll do great, but no, I didn't watch it.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. So I have never watched the films. Never watched the films. Know they're very popular.
I've seen 2 of them.
Okay. I have not read the books. I owned several growing up, but I never read them.
Mm,
I tried to read them for the accelerated reader program in school because they were worth a shit ton of points. So you could like knock out all of your month's points with like one Harry Potter book.
mhm.
That was the idea. But I always ended up with the like the sports books or like the meteorology books. But I digress. So I'm not in the Harry Potter universe. However, this was fucking awesome. I'm not gonna lie. This was a great showcase for this game, and it sold me. Like
Mm,
it looks great. It looks, as someone who is an open world RPG fan, I appreciate what is going on in the game, and so that speaks to me. And even though I don't know anything about the universe right now, I thought it looked really good. Oh, it seemed very deep. There was a lot going on. It had what appeared to be everything that you would want from a big open world RPG. Lots
mhm,
of, you got character customization. The combat looked fun. There was an element of like you have like an area that's kind of like a house or something. So like, very immersive is what I'm trying to say. It looked great. I think I'm in on this. It has inspired me to go and watch the movies. I have almost a year to do that, so I got plenty of
mhm.
time.
The movies aren't terrible. I think you'll enjoy them.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to read the books. I can promise you that. But the movies, I can do that. There's like 8 of them or whatever. If I can do one a month, I'll be fine. So I thought but like I said, overall, I thought it was very impressive. And this seems like you said, this is going to be a very popular game. It's going to be a very good seller. And I didn't realize this until the other day, but the original like announcement trailer for this game that I think was originally at a state of play a while back was like the most watched
Yeah.
YouTube video on PlayStation's YouTube channel or
It was
something
something
like that.
crazy. Yeah, it was something crazy.
And then this one, yeah, and then this gameplay video is already over 1 million views in like 24 hours. So people love Harry Potter, and this is going to be huge. And of course, this is not exclusive to PlayStation, of course, but they obviously have a marketing deal for this game. So that seems like a pretty smart move. And I was very impressed. And as someone who knows nothing about Harry Potter, I think that speaks volumes for the game. Number two, developer Polyphony Digital and Sony Interactive Entertainment came under fire this week after Gran Turismo 7's servers shut down for more than 24 hours beginning on Thursday. They have since been restored, but the problem stemmed from a broken update, patch 1.07, which required Polyphony to extend a routine server maintenance period to fix the issue. The larger issue is that the game is largely unplayable without a connection to the server, as you found out, becoming a glorified demo with the only available mode being the arcade mode, leading to concern over future outages. Elsewhere, the 1.07 update also seems to have reduced the amount of in game currency earned for some race events. This, of course, following criticism of GT7's microtransactions as a whole. Gran Turismo producer Kazunori Yamauchi released a statement to apologize for the outage on Friday and also addressed the in-game car prices, saying, quote, "In GT7, I would like to have users enjoy lots of cars and races even without microtransactions. At the same time, the pricing of cars is an important element that conveys their value and rarity. So I do think it's important for it to be linked with real world prices. End quote. He went on to say that Polyphony Digital is working on ways to keep players from having to grind so much to be able to afford cars, besides utilizing microtransactions. All right, so you're the expert here on this. What's going on with your game?
The glorified demo comment is infuriating to me because if you knew anything about the game, this was a very transparent issue before the game came out. They said you have to be online to play the game. There were plenty of
Mm-hmm.
sources before the game that came out that said, "Hey, all you can do without the internet is like play the music game. That's really about it." You know?
Mm-hmm.
So people who are just now figuring this out, "Oh, all I can do is play the arcade mode." It's like, did you are you yeah, like, of course. Yeah, read stuff before you buy it. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, why would you it's like not watching a trailer before you go to a movie.
Sure.
Fucking pay attention. So shut the fuck up is my first thing there.
Whoa.
Second, the server being shut down for a day is annoying and frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen many updates before in other games that have broken games in different ways, and then they've left it,
Mm-hmm.
and the game's been unplayable for a week while they try to fix it. So instead of doing that, what they did was address it immediately. So yes,
Right.
it's annoying, but I'm glad they fixed it, right? I think that was the right decision to make, and of course, that is a difficult decision to make. I'm sure there was a lot of knee jerking and hee hawing about what the right decision was for Polyphony there, but that is the right decision to make. Okay, so we've covered those two things. As far as the lowering the amount of credits I can win in a game, that is the most frustrating part about all this because grinding on that game to be able to buy stuff is super annoying. That's the most annoying thing about the original Gran Turismo series is there were certain cars that like I don't you would have to grind so long to buy one car. And then that one
Right.
car you can only use in certain situations, certain game modes, certain challenges. And then if you hated the car, you just have the car.
Yeah.
So at least on the old games you could sell it, you could get something back. Of course on
Right.
these it just goes to your collection. So that's annoying. The price of the car is being tied to real life. Yeah, that's cool. But the thing is, they're working on a solution. Like, the solution is to give me a decent amount of credits when I'm playing the game. That's your solution.
Right.
Or, I don't know, you could make a Ford Fiesta 1 coin and a Bugatti 5 coins. My point being, none of this is real. It's not a
Yeah.
real currency. It's all bullshit. It's real currency when I use microtransactions, but, again, we're trying to avoid that. So, if you're telling me
Mm-hmm.
that, a Shelby Cobra cost 150K in real life and you want it to be 150,000 credits in the game, that's fine, but make it manageable that I can actually get 150,000 credits. Like, when I upgrade a car for a challenge and I spend 250,000 credits, I know that's not realistic.
Yeah, and
So
you shouldn't have to
right,
you shouldn't have to play like 20 races to be able to buy,
right.
150,000 whatever credit card,
And
for
and it
instance.
wasn't like that before. And you can't get mad at
Right.
people. Like, there was like the whole thing that was happening was people were basically farming credits like you would on Elden Ring or Destiny when you would farm levels to get stuff.
Yeah.
What
Mhm.
they would do is they would use like the rally course track and there was another race you could do where, it's 2 laps, you win the race, it takes you 2 minutes and you can get 50,000 credits, right? Or something like that. Something stupid.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, people farm stuff, and guess what? It's okay. Like, it's not hurting you that people can farm stuff. The only way it's hurting you is they don't microtransaction your credits. So you're basically penalizing us because you're greedy. We found a loophole. Like, you can't
Mhm.
get mad at me for using the system the way it's built. Sorry. So yes, that all that is annoying and frustrating and stupid. And I think there's an easy way to fix the pricing if they don't know how to fix the pricing without losing money is what this means.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly how it reads, and I'm sure that there's some type of middle ground. There's something that's more expensive than it has been in the past, but maybe not as expensive as they've made it out of the
Yeah,
gate.
it's easy to do.
Yeah, but it's simultaneously a bad look if you reduce the price because you're admitting fault basically, but it's also a good look too because you're listening to your fan base. So I don't know what they're going to end up doing. I'm going to guess they're going to do nothing. That Polyphony just seems like that sort of studio that would do nothing about it.
Oh, okay.
Not unintentionally, but just like, all right, hey, it's Gran Turismo. Like, you're gonna play it or you're not gonna play it. Like, I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but because I feel like they do the same thing with, I don't know. I feel like Kojima would do the same thing. He'd be like, okay, you don't like that you have to walk across the country twice in the game? Well, don't play it then. I don't know, but the other thing, as far as the patch itself, the server being down, I mean, you do make a compelling point that this is the first online game that has been down for an extended period of time. Just about every online game nowadays launches with problems and has various problems throughout its life cycle that it's down for hours or sometimes longer than that. So I don't think that's not unheard of. The problem I think that people are having is that this is coming from PlayStation first party, which is relatively unheard of. At the same time, though, it's not out of the realm of possibility, I guess. But it does make me, as someone who doesn't play Gran Turismo, kind of pivoting a little bit, changing gears, it does make me concerned that Sony has said they're going to have 10 live service games between now and 2026. Hopefully that they can figure out, number one, how to have stable servers, and number two, how to finely tune their microtransactions and how they monetize things.
Mhm.
So hopefully those are things that they can work out between, now and the next big kind of online only title, if you will. But
I think it's doable. And the final thing I want to say that I wish they would fix is I've gotten the same car twice in my
uh,
like real thing, whatever you call them.
mhm.
I've also gotten you get roulette tickets and they're rated by stars. I've had like 5 or 6 3-star roulette tickets, and every time I've gotten 5,000 credits or 10,000 credits. I haven't gotten a car or anything. Point being is that that's retarded, first of all, because it's just like 2K. Like, you're not getting a card, you're getting it's stupid. And the other thing that's annoying is when I get the same car, it doesn't it just says I have the same car. Like, I should either get to re-roll or get the credits for the car. I can't
Right.
have 2 cars. So that's annoying, but I mean, like you said, they probably won't change it.
Number three, Sony has responded to the addition of further female plaintiffs for the class, or excuse me, to the class action discrimination lawsuit originally filed against them in November of 2021. The company's lawyers told website Axios that, quote, Sony Interactive Entertainment takes the substance of the newly submitted declarations seriously, end quote. In a new court filing regarding the matter, Sony had this to say about the new accusations, quote, although most are by former employees who no longer work at SIE, SIE either has addressed or will address the issues raised in them in due course, as SIE values its female employees and takes proactive steps to ensure they have every opportunity to thrive and be heard. But these new declarations say nothing about whether the operative complaint in this case contains sufficient facts to support the sweeping claims the plaintiff has alleged, end quote. The next step in the case is a hearing in April where Sony will plead its case for a summary dismissal of the lawsuit. So
Mhm.
this obviously isn't games related, and I debated even putting this in the main news, but it is a class action lawsuit, and I didn't want to just totally ignore it and brush over it and pretend like we wouldn't talk about the bad stuff. So, do you have any comments about this?
Yeah, I think they made a bit of a misstep here when they said that most are former employees. Like, that's legitimately irrelevant. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. Don't even
right.
say that. Don't, because what that does is it almost, in a sense, it gives off a vibe of disinterest, that they don't matter anymore, that whatever. So I don't know. I wouldn't have worded it like that. I wouldn't even have brought that up. I would have just said, "Hey, we're taking the proactive steps. We've dealt with it in house. We are taking it seriously." Yada yada yada. Like, they don't work here anymore. So what?
Yeah, it does read like that, doesn't it?
So that's my big issue with it. But to the point about the declarations, we've seen these types of lawsuits play out in different ways. We've seen athletes have dozens of complaints filed against them at the same time, and they all get dismissed because the evidence isn't there that
Hmm.
basically these women were just gold digging. And we've had it
Right.
go the other way where they're 100% founded, and prominent members of different industries end up in jail. So both both are disheartening. It's annoying that people would just do things for money. It's also annoying that people would just sexually harass people because it makes them horny or rape them. So in both situations, you lose.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just like, why are we dealing with this? Is what I feel like. You know what I mean? Like this feels like something that should
Mhm.
happen only in the Old Testament, but we're still dealing with it. Like it's just frustrating all the way around. As a human being, it's the most. It's just so frustrating.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head perfectly. We live in a very litigious society, and people sometimes people are telling the truth, and other times people are just trying to make a buck, like you said. They see an opportunity. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but it's a shame that we have to sit here and say those types of things because the system is broken in a way, and and people are dishonest and all the above. So I guess the only thing I really have to say is that if Sony did do something illegal, if they discriminated against people, then obviously something needs to be done
Yeah,
about it.
easy game.
And then, if not, then yeah, it should be dismissed. I mean, that's what it is. It's black or white in that way, I feel like. Number 4, thought this one was interesting. Ubisoft Stockholm revealed a new cloud computing technology this week, called it Ubisoft Scaler. That should not be an A there. Ubisoft Scaler, which they claim will allow them to make more complex games than ever before, capable of being updated in real time and populated by a massive number of players. The relatively unknown Ubisoft studio was founded in 2017 and is led by Patrick
Mhm.
Bach, the former general manager of Battlefield developer DICE.
And former composer.
Yes, former composer Bach. The studio's technical director, this is his real name, I believe, Per Olaf Rommel,
That's fucking
said that the
great.
said that the new technology should not be confused with cloud game streaming, stating, quote, game streaming is a distribution model. It betters accessibility of games, but it doesn't change in essence what games are and the quality of them. Now, what Ubisoft Scalar is all about is the quality and the possibilities that it opens up for us as game developers and gamers. Ellipsis. Try to look 10 years into the try to look 10 years into the future and imagine what games should be, could be, and what you could expect out of games and how you make them. End quote. Ubisoft Stockholm naturally is developing a brand new action game IP built from the ground up on Scalar and the Snowdrop graphics engine. So, what do you make of this?
Great chance to be called Ubisoft Stockholm Syndrome. I think that would be so good.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm picking apart quotes all day today for some reason. I'm stuck on this. Asking me to look 10 years into the future is a huge ask. Like when I think about, hey, what are you eating for dinner tomorrow? It makes me nauseous. I don't fucking know. Like, what do you mean? If you had asked me 10 years ago what my future looked like, I would have had no fucking clue, and I don't think I ever will. So, listen, that being said, like when I read through this, what you're talking to me about real time and populating servers in a different way, that's very interesting.
Hmm.
That seems like something that isn't 10 years away. That seems like something we should have within 2 or 3 years. Like that seems highly
Right.
possible. The idea that stuff can be updated on a whim is pretty cool because it kind of, in a sense,
Hmm.
eliminates what you were just worried about with these PlayStation parties and their
Mm.
server issues, right? I mean, if it's
Hmm.
that easy to fix just by uploading it to a server, there shouldn't be huge 24-hour delays. There might be 30-minute
Right.
delays, right? Because, like, for instance,
That's a
at
good
work
point.
today, we had to change the resolution on a computer screen to better fit this projection on it. The resolution is blocked for me. I can't do it physically there, which is odd, right?
Yeah.
But I can call IT and I pulled up my settings and I'm like, "Hey, it's showing me 16:9 wide." And it's stretched out wide, right? It looks super funky. It looks funky, right? It's the resolution's blurry, like it's really weird. It says down
Yeah.
here on the bottom the max is like, 1920 whatever, 60 hertz. Cool. He goes back there in the back, does some stuff on the computer. He calls me back and says, just basically restart the computer. Restart the computer, pops up, says, "Hey, your settings have changed. Press whatever to continue." Press it. It flashes black back on. Everything's perfectly scaled and it's crisp. I mean, it's like 4K crisp.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
because of the way like the server works. It basically like the computer system links back to the server, just
Mm.
like the internet does, right? But that server has a graphic, a scaled ratio graphic built into it, if that makes any
Okay.
sense, and it's locked into that one portal. So, like, we have like 65 different portals. It knows that for number 49, it's this. For number 48, it's that. So my PC logs straight in. It goes only to my port, and it immediately updates. And he can sit back there and change it at any time. He can lock my computer individually from any website. He can do anything on my computer individually because of the way the server's built out, and it kind of spiders out of its hub, so to speak.
Right.
Which is funny because this is kind of what they're doing, right? Like, so
Yeah.
seeing how that worked today and how quick it was,
Yeah, it's a
it's
good example.
badass. Like, that could be badass. The last thing I'll say is I'm still not sold on having huge numbers of players on a game I'm playing. I'm not sure I need to load into something with 100 people still. I still don't know how I feel about that.
Mm,
And part of that could be because I've never had it work in a good way ever.
sure.
Even on, GTA, it just turns into chaos when there's 20 people. The idea that we're on a server playing a version of Ghost Recon, and we can have a squad, and we have a territory, and people are
Right.
coming trying to take it, and we can defend it. Like, that's cool. That's really
Absolutely.
cool. Or we can attack. That's really cool,
Mhm.
right? But we don't,
Yeah.
we don't mess with the purples over here. But the greens and the
Right.
oranges are going at it, right? That's cool. See, I like that idea, but I don't know how that scales. Is kind of my worry.
I think this has a lot of potential, but I think it might be, at least in my narrow brain, I think it is narrow in the sense of what types of
Uh,
games can take advantage of this. I think maybe like social games, like VR hangout spaces type of
mm,
thing. Like I think this has a lot of potential for VR. Like if PlayStation decides to bring PlayStation Home back, for instance, and they had this sort of technology. Of course, we're talking about Ubisoft here, but if they had something like this, I'm just trying to think of examples. Or like you said, if Ubisoft had a live service like MMO Ghost Recon game where there's just this big, massive map, and we have like all these clans, and like like you said, me and you join up with a clan with like 1,000 other people, but we're all on at different times, and there's maybe 20 of us on at one time, and we're defending our base, and then they're off, but 5 other guys get on or something like, and it's all just like a living, breathing world, and it's just like it's always persistent, it's always there, like stuff like that sounds really interesting for me or to me for something like this. Like you said, the ability to just instantly update something and to have these games filled with all, like imagine like a big open world game where there's no NPCs. Every person is a real every character is a real
is
person,
that
for
what
instance,
Cyberpunk
possibly.
was?
No, because there's a Cyberpunk,
Yeah,
huh?
every NPC is a real person, right? They all have a story.
Well, yeah, but I mean like actually somebody with a controller, like playing.
Uh huh. Yeah,
So
yeah. Don't, I would still Peter Pan off a building.
well, everybody we got to have guys who Peter Pan off buildings, so that's fine. But yeah, I think it's promising. Is Ubisoft the best studio or company to have this technology? Are they going to make the best use of it? Probably not. I mean, I mean that's really debatable, right? Like I think this would be better off in the hands of a first party like PlayStation or Microsoft. Ubisoft, they're kind of cooling off a little bit. Like I say that, but I do enjoy a lot of their games. But like they're just like Valhalla, like and I don't know, even like the Watch Dogs game, the latest one of that. So I don't know. Hopefully they can kind of sort that out to where they can actually take proper advantage of some technology like this and not give us some type of mediocre bullshit with just a bunch of question marks on a map somewhere. Like hopefully they can do something more creative than that with it. Number 5, Travis, we also have a lot of news nuggets as well. Feel free to jump in here if anything stands out to you. First nugget, website gamesindustry.biz reported that the former head of Ubisoft Massive, the studio behind the division, David Polfelt, has resigned from Ubisoft, opting not to return from his 6-month sabbatical after 17 years with the company.
Yeah, I imagine not, not working for 6 months really takes the momentum away.
Yeah, it really takes the piss, doesn't it?
Yeah, maybe maybe it's what Ubisoft needed though.
Maybe, yeah. He probably came back and he was like, what the fuck happened? He's just like, okay.
What the fuck is Scaler? I'm out.
Yeah. I'm not fucking with this shit. All right. Next nugget. Take Two Interactive Publishing Label Private Division announced that they are partnering with indie developers Die Gut Fabric, Evening Star, Piccolo Studio and Yellow Brick Games to publish their next games. Elden Ring is already a massive success as it is the biggest new IP launch in Europe since 2016's The Division. There it is. And the biggest game launch since last year's Call of Duty Vanguard. It is also the fastest selling game ever from a Japanese third party studio after already selling 12 million copies since launch. Developer From Software also announced plans to expand the IP, quote unquote, beyond gaming. Imagine
There you
that.
go.
Starting to look like I was wrong last week when I said it wasn't going to sell 20 million. It's well on its way.
Yeah, but that was a fair guess though, because games like that usually don't. But
Yeah.
by the way, everybody I've talked to says it's not easier than Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like it's still fucking hard. All right, cool.
I didn't realize till this week, but apparently there are 212 bosses in the game.
It's awesome.
212. Jesus.
Weird number. Is that how many elements there are?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. Look that up, nerd boy.
Well, anyway, if that's an Easter egg, you heard it here first.
You did. Next nugget. Publisher Electronic Arts announced that they have canceled their EA Play showcase that normally runs alongside E3 due to their projects not being ready to show off.
Then they'll never have it again?
Maybe not.
Nothing they make is ready. Battlefield. They can't make a basketball game.
Oh my god, yeah. That's been
What's
years.
a good EA game they can show off? FIFA's been the same game for 10 years allegedly. Like what are they showing off anyway?
Yeah, that's a good point. Fuck. Also, Chinese communist megacorporation Tencent has acquired a majority stake in Spanish developer Tequila Works, the studio behind Rhyme. The founders of Avalanche Studios and a group of different Avalanche Studios and a group of veteran developers who worked on the Just Cause series, that Avalanche Studios, have founded a new studio called Elemental Games to work on systems-driven open-world titles.
You said studio so many times I blacked out. And I don't know.
I just glossed over you. Huh?
I don't know what systems-driven open world games is. Is that every open world game? Or they just say open world games?
I don't know, man. I don't know. So there's two Avalanches. There's Avalanche Studios, which is the studio that made Just Cause and are making that contraband game for Microsoft. There's another Avalanche, which is Avalanche Software, which is the developer that's making Hogwarts Legacy. Not to be confused. Just keeping it straight for you. Also, Gran Turismo 7 held on to its first place in the UK sales chart this week ahead of the newly launched WWE 2K22 right behind it.
If that passed, then that would disappoint me. Can we at least be in first for a couple of weeks?
Yeah, you got a couple more probably. Also, Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions' Uncharted film crossed $300 million in worldwide box office this week. That's a pretty good flick, huh?
Is that good?
Netflix announced that its live-action Resident Evil series will premiere on July 14th. Website Video Games Chronicle reported that cross-platform play for Borderlands 3 will finally come to PlayStation sometime in the future after some sort of dispute between Gearbox and Sony, over the feature took place, I should say. Elsewhere, Gearbox also announced that Tiny Tina's Wonderlands will launch with full cross-play support this week.
Isn't Borderlands 3 like 12 years old?
It came out like early 2021, I think. So yeah, it's over a year old.
Never mind. That's fair enough. I was thinking it was like 2016. I'm like, who the fuck's been waiting for this?
Right. Also, publisher Konami has updated its Japanese trademarks for several IP, including Silent Hill. Internal Steam placeholders seem to indicate that Uncharted may be headed for a PC release in July. That's probably true. Capcom confirmed that Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 save data will transfer to the PS5 version when the next-gen updates are released. Hiroyuki Kobayashi, the producer of the Dino Crisis series, confirmed that he is, quote-unquote, deeply involved with Capcom's new IP, Exoprimal. So that's why we're getting all those Dino Crisis vibes from Kobayashi, the world-famous hot dog eating champion. Upcoming PS5 timed exclusive Ghostwire Tokyo will include 6 graphical modes. Yes, 6. Quality mode, performance mode, high frame rate quality mode, high frame rate performance mode, high frame rate quality VSync mode, and high frame rate performance VSync mode. Okay.
Yeah, Gran Turismo has 2, and I was like, can you fucking just work?
Right. Also, Ubisoft has delayed the release of free-to-play roller derby game Roller Champions. It is now scheduled to arrive sometime in late spring. Developer Supermassive Games announced their new teen horror game called The Quarry. It will launch on PS4 and PS5 on June 10th, and it includes a long list of Hollywood actors, including David Arquette, Ariel Winter, Justice Smith, Brenda Song, Lance Henriksen, and Lynn Shay. It looks really good.
I know who
Excited.
one of those people is.
Whoa, you know David Arquette, right?
Yeah, who the fuck are the rest?
Ariel Winter was on Modern Family.
Oh, the girl, big tits. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Justice Smith was in
Will Smith's kid.
could be. What was he in? Something. Brenda Song. Yeah, Brenda Song was in something. Lance Henriksen was in Aliens. And
Okay,
Lynn Shay was in Nightmare on Elm Street, and she's the wife, I think, of Robert Shay, maybe the daughter. I don't know.
Who's Robert Shay? Is that
He's the
Jackie
guy
Chan's
who owns
stunt double?
he's the guy who owns like New Line Cinema,
Oh.
and he probably I don't know, he probably molested a bunch of people if he owns a movie company.
I think New Line Cinema made The Truman Show or The Majestic.
Wonderful.
Maybe I'm dreaming, but I love those movies.
Wonderful. Next nugget. International Indie Game Development Fund Kowloon Knights has signed 8 new indie projects, Travis, to the label. An unannounced title from American studio Aggro Crab, Worship, a cultist roguelike inspired by Pikmin from Canadian team Chasing Rats Games, Tectonica, a factory building and automation game set on an alien planet from American studio Firehose Games. That one's for me. An unannounced title from Canadian studio Kit Fox Games, 2 new IPs from Australian developer League of Geeks, Sword of Symphony, a musical action RPG from UK developer Stephen, Dudungu, Jungu. And I think 2 D's is a J sound, Jungu, and an unannounced project from Dutch studio Webble Games.
So you could start spelling your name DDASON.
Oh, that's good. Website Push Square reported that Ubisoft free-to-play shooter X Defiant has dropped the Tom Clancy brand name. It's probably for the best, so they can let that guy rest in his grave.
What does X Defiant feels like something, but I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is.
Oh, you've seen it. It's a first-person shooter. It kind of looks like The Division in first person. I'll send you a video of it. I'm sure that you've seen it. It looks decent.
Are they going to yell "fuck the X Defiant"? Because that's what that'd be great.
Fuck the Division. I hope so. I miss those Splinter Cell remarks in the Rainbow Six. Whatever.
I wish
terrorist comments.
I wish every game had that. Like every kind of tactical shooter would have that. Which I guess some of them do. Does is it Insurgency where they yell stuff, or was it?
Yeah, they yell some stuff on Insurgency. Yeah,
it was, but I don't know what they're saying. It just sounds like
right. In Terrorist Hunt on Rainbow Six, not to be confused with what's going on in Insurgency, but on Rainbow Six, they say stuff like, "He's dead. We're fucked," and shoot for their aim for their heads, and like stuff like that. It's hilarious. And then I remember that one of the best ones is, "They killed Marcelo. Shit, man, that bitch owed me money."
Yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking good. All right, we're off track here. Where are we? Also, next nugget here. Popular multiplayer game Fall Guys, the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game ever, will require players to re-download the game starting on April the 5th on PlayStation 4 due to it receiving a new launcher app following developer Mediatonic being purchased by Epic Games and therefore taking over the publishing rights from Devolver Digital. But don't fear, all data and content will transfer over. EA Play members on PS4 and PS5 will be able to download F1 2021 starting on March 24th.
It's also $15 right now.
It is. I'm shocked you haven't got it yet.
I have Gran Turismo. I can't have 2. That's too much time. That's too much for me.
It's like me in open world games. Developer Ubisoft Ivory Tower will finally bring 60 frames per second support to The Crew 2 on PS5 in July, alongside its 5th year of content for the game.
Uh-huh.
Why don't they just release a new game? The fuck? Adventure game series A Plague Tale from French developer Asobo Studio will be getting a French television adaptation with involvement from director Mathieu Turi, who worked on Inglourious Bastards, Rosemary's Baby, and Lucy. What a lineup.
Right. This might be kind of cool, though.
Yeah, they did see in the story, or I did see in the story that there were some U.S. television companies that were interested and they declined because they wanted to keep it in the France. Also, official soundtracks from Returnal, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and Ghost of Tsushima are getting released on vinyl. Hideo Kojima's new project appears to be a PlayStation exclusive, Travis, as the Japanese auteur has been tweeting a lot this week about remotely directing motion capture sessions at Sony Santa Monica studio. It is worth noting, however, that Sony Santa Monica does rent the space out to third parties. Capcom, for instance, used the studio to capture scenes for Resident Evil 8. But I do want to add that he is also using a beta version of Sony's, what they call MODA. It's some type of advanced teleconferencing technology to direct the shit from Japan. So I don't know. I think it's a PlayStation exclusive. Also, website PlayStation Lifestyle reported that Sony will headline publisher Konami's upcoming Indie Games Connect convention as the only platinum level sponsor, which is also interesting that they're in bed with Konami a little bit there. Godfall developer Counterplay Games announced this week that every major fan-requested feature they have been tracking since launch will get added to the game with the upcoming Exalted update on April the 7th, including enhanced story, overhauled combat, changes to realm bosses, a new co-op mode, and more. Pretty cool. Website PlayStation Universe reported that the following games received update patches this week: Black Desert Online, Horizon Forbidden West, Overwatch, Neverwinter, Chorus, which added ray tracing and adaptive trigger support on PS5, Rainbow Six Siege, Predator Hunting Grounds, FIFA 22, Gran Turismo 7, Elden Ring, Dauntless, For Honor, Ark Survival Evolved, The King of Fighters 15, and World War Z. So if you've been waiting for some fixes or content, you might want to check it out. And also a PSA, if you're transferring your GTA Online character from PS4 to PS5, it will permanently delete your profile on the PS4 version of the game. So just beware of that. Publisher Electronic Arts is staffing up for an open world game with quote unquote interactive storytelling as it's at its new Seattle based studio. Chris Klippel, or Klippel, I don't know, of Rockstar Magazine claims that Grand Theft Auto 6 has reached a major development milestone, but also said that he does not expect the game before the end of 2024 at the earliest. Christ. Contrary to recent reporting, developer Quantic Dream says their staff grew 50% in 2021, so did mine, and that the studio is currently working on 3 projects, including the previously announced Star Wars Eclipse. So maybe it's not all bad there after all. Also, adventure game Road 96 will release on PS4 and PS5 on April the 14th. Website Gematsu reported that visual novel Arcade Spirits: The New Challengers will launch on PS4 and PS5 on May 27th. Multiplayer stealth game Deceive Inc. was announced for PS5 and it will launch sometime in early 2023. That looks kind of cool. It looks like it's got that same aesthetic as, what was that co-op puzzling game me and you played? It was a PlayStation Plus game. We can never remember the name of it.
Oh yeah, the one that was awesome.
Operation Tango.
Yeah.
It kind of has that aesthetic, but it's like a multiplayer shooter.
Okay.
It looks cool.
It was cool. Fun. I love puzzlers. It's like, I don't know, it's weird. Puzzlers are like my RPGs.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
You do like them. Yeah, you have Valiant Hearts and shit.
Oh, my chest is hurting. I'm dying. Okay, it's over.
Okay. Next nugget, free-to-play 3D action game Bleach. My asshole. Brave Souls is available now on the PlayStation Store. Ashen developer A44 Games announced open-world action RPG Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. It will launch later this year on both PS4 and PS5, and that also looks pretty dope.
That is a title that makes me interested, so I definitely want to watch some stuff on it. Again, that could fall into the realm of games I just watch occasionally on YouTube, but
sure.
I love the idea of using a flintlock in a video game.
Yes. Publisher and developer Whitehorn Games announced turn-based RPG Wellfall for major consoles. A Kickstarter campaign is now live. Escape puzzle game Escape Academy was announced for both PS4 and PS5. Real original, and is due out sometime later this year. Clash Artifacts of Chaos will launch on PS4 and PS5 sometime in November. First-person shooter Sniper Elite 5 will launch on PS4 and PS5 on May 26th. This is for you.
Yeah, but also keep in mind, There's a VR rumor about this game, so just keep that in mind.
Also, pixel art wrestling RPG WrestleQuest was announced for PS4 and PS5, but no release date was given, and it features actual WWE wrestlers.
Hey, this is for you. You're into wrestling now, and it's an RPG.
You're right. I'm rock hard. Strategy RPG Relayer will get a physical edition release in the West on May 20th.
And all you
Digital
do,
edition is already out.
have you looked that game up?
No.
Oh yeah, you just you basically go into companies and you just relay bricks that are messed up. All you do.
Sounds exhilarating. Publisher NetEase Games, slightly communist, and their Sakura Studio announced the development of 3 console games: an action RPG, a quote unquote new style battle game, yes, based on a popular IP, and a cooperative action game. Okay. Genshin Impact version 2.6 will arrive on March 30th, featuring new content. Developer Red Candle Games announced 2D action platformer Nine Souls, as in Days on Mars, and also shared that a Kickstarter campaign is now live. Street Fighter V Champion Edition will get a new update on March 29th that adds new cell shading and pixel graphic filters. Bullet Hell Dungeon Crawler Wildcat Gun Machine, that's kind of a cool name,
Yeah.
launches on May 4th for PS4.
So what would you call a bullet hell dungeon crawler, like Doom?
Yes, yeah, correct. Side-scrolling action beat-em-up roguelike game Tunchi, also known as Lil Wayne, will come to PS4 on March 25th, same day as Ghostwire Tokyo. And finally, developer Polyarc announced that PlayStation VR title Moss Book 2 will launch on March 31st, so just a couple of weeks away. And that is all for the news this week. And I'm going to kick it over to Travis now for some new game releases.
On the 14th, we have Very, Very Valet, which has a little bit of Crazy Taxi in it. You are a valet driver. I mean, I don't know what else you would expect, but the Crazy Taxi reference is crazy to me that I just looked this up because I read the title and thought, I bet there's some Crazy Taxi in it. There's some definitely in its soul, and it looks it has it definitely in its veins, which is weird that my brain put that together. Some sort of ether thing. Anyway. On the 15th, we have GTA 5 on the PS5, and of course, GTA 5 Online is free for now. We also have Phantom Breaker, Omnia. On the 16th, we have The Moose Man, The Wanderer, Frankenstein's Creature, and Wife Quest, which...
That's every day.
If you combine the other two, that makes a very interesting game. Just imagine a dating show, and then there's the Moose Man, and then Frankenstein, and she has to ask him questions. She can't see them though. Anyway,
yeah.
On the 17th, we have Anno Mutationum. Mutationum. That is a word. Okay. So
for now.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which sounds like a brand of tampons. On the 18th, we have Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin.
Nice. But I think it's safe to say GTA 5 is the biggest release this week. And I know people have really been enjoying Stranger of Paradise, though. I want to know what the Moose Man is.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It's like the Slender Man with antlers.
Oh, I'm fucking good.
I don't know.
Anyway, that's all for the new games this week. Let's start to wrap the show up here, Travis, by discussing what we have been playing and anything that we're planning on playing in the week ahead. What do you got?
I played a little FIFA one night. I don't even remember what I'm doing on there, but anyway, I was playing FIFA. Yeah, so the first game, I hadn't played it in so long, and I've been racing so much that the controller felt like it felt alien, like because I haven't been using the controller.
Right.
I was like, how do you hold this and hit buttons? And then R1 and L1 felt super big, like they felt so wide. It was weird. It was just a weird experience in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played that for a little bit. I'm still in League 2, playing around with that, and selling people as much as I can. Yeah, and then I played obviously I played Gran Turismo. I think I forget what cafe book I'm on. I'm on there's 39 cafe books, and I'm somewhere in the 20s. But I'm getting ready to do Daytona with the Tundra trucks.
Hell yeah.
Which is interesting. I don't know how that's going to work because it's not the 24-hour road course. It's the Daytona Oval, and you're driving Toyota Tundras. So I assume it's just all going to be draft, and then the other part of that challenge is a rally course with the Toyota Tundra. It's like they just I love on the daily races when they put cars in weird places. I
Yeah.
just really enjoy it, but I'm interested to see how Daytona works on GT7 because in real life and like on iRacing and other games, when you drive when you race a car with huge amounts of draft, there's a way you race when you're in the lead. So like you want to be far enough behind the car on the last lap where you can pick up the draft and then basically get a run and basically slingshot around them.
Okay.
And a way that you do that is if you're behind the leader, you let off the gas, which sounds weird, but when you let off the gas, you get that gap, and that gap lets you get in the optimal draft range, the optimal slipstream range. And when you're in the lead, you have to basically see that and be able to kind of monitor it to where you're keeping them in where they don't want to be, basically. And also,
Okay.
you want the people behind you to race 2 by 2, so you can kind of manipulate them by changing lanes and stuff like that. I'm interested to see if this game captures that because, iRacing does that probably better than any other game in the world.
Hmm.
And that's a super important part of oval racing on a super speedway scale. Obviously, it doesn't matter on smaller tracks, but, if you're gonna have a super speedway on your game, you have to be able to replicate the racing. So, Gran Turismo does a kick-ass job of, like, replicating what you see at Monza or Le Mans on the game, so I'm interested to see if this translates, but, I assume it will, but, I'll find out eventually if maybe tonight if the server still works.
Yeah. It's supposedly they fixed it, so maybe you can get back on your beloved, not your wife, but Gran Turismo. Yeah. So I've been playing more Horizon Forbidden West. I decided that I needed to go ahead and focus on getting the story done because it was getting really good and the story was getting pretty interesting, and everything else is just a distraction at this point. So I was in like probably like I was probably 60% or so done with the story anyway, so I decided to just kind of mainline it. I have the final main quest left is all on the
Wow.
story that I have to complete. And yeah, I've only got the final quest
You
left.
gonna cry?
I might. I just might. And doing that, I have still, without even looking for other things, I've still been getting side quests and errands and all this other stuff like that.
Awesome.
There is so much shit in that game. It's not like the Witcher 3 level amount of stuff, but it is a lot of shit to do in that game. There's no way that I'm going to go for like 100%. I'm going to get the platinum because I'm well on my way, but I'm not going to do like everything in the game because I mean, that might take me 130 hours or something, and I'm just not doing that. I've already got like probably almost 50 hours into it, and I've enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. Um, but I am so impressed with this game. It is so fucking good. It is. I don't know. It's so good. The combat is good. They've improved it so much. Just graphically, it's so impressive. It's incredible to look at. And then like I've told you before, the performance capture, like it is a masterclass in performance capture. And all of it is in engine stuff. It's not like a cutscene that they rendered and then stuck it in the game. Like it's all in the game engine. It's just a masterclass. It is phenomenal the way it looks and the way that people like make expression on their face and everything, and it's just it's incredible. And then the story is not what I expected. It takes a little bit of a twist, I guess. It's really compelling though. It's good stuff. Very interesting. And without spoiling anything, I think I can understand how they can make a spin-off game in VR, for instance. They could do after this game, they could do all kinds of stuff with this IP if they wanted to. They could do a series, like I said, I think an animated series would be fantastic for this. You could get a lot of the same voice actors. I really enjoy the cast of characters as a whole in the game. Everybody is really interesting for the most part. There are a few that are more interesting than others, obviously. I really have my favorites, I guess. Some really cool ones in there. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. I'm not done with it yet, obviously, but I think right now if I rated it today, I would give it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
The only thing holding it back really is there's still to this day some graphical glitches. So, I'm not going to give it 10 when there's still some glitches and whatnot, but man, cannot recommend it enough. And then also, as Travis alluded to, I am now a big wrestling fan, big wrestling game guy. Played some more WWE this week and fucking loved it. Loved it.
I love that you love it.
I fucking loved it, man. I told you I wanted to record some footage for the YouTube channel. So I did that. I went into my faction and kind of got started in that point, actually playing matches. And I didn't realize that I was going to play with females, but I did like a weekly challenge, like board that they have. You do like 5 different challenges, and I think I did the first 3 or something like that. And or the first week of challenges is what I was working on, and they were all female matches. And one of them, the third one that I did, was a tag team match, and I fucking loved it. I was I was standing up in front of my TV with my controller shouting because I was getting so close to pinning, and winning the match. And then the other person would come in through the ropes and knock me off of them. And I was trying to figure out how to keep them from doing that. And so then my AI partner would come over and like smack them sometimes. I'm like, all right, this is it. And then they'd kick out, they'd break out of the pin. I'm like, shit. Like, what, so it was a battle. It was a battle. It was pretty epic in my opinion. And in the midst of all this, my wife came home and saw me standing up in front of the TV screaming at women in bikinis wrestling each other.
Yeah.
She's like, what are you playing? She's like, are you wrestling? I said, yeah. So it's really intense. I feel like Step Brothers. Like, yeah, I've been watching Cops.
Yeah.
It was just like that, but I fucking loved it. And so if you guys want to see that, you can't hear me because I wasn't recording my audio, but
that's probably
you
good.
can definitely, yeah, you can definitely see little 2-on-2 all female tag team action.
Do you like it because you can finally hit a woman?
Yeah, I've been waiting 32 years to hit a woman. I finally can do it. So yeah, that's 10 out of 10 because I can hit a woman. But I'm joking, of course. But yeah, it's an awesome game. Very good. I can't wait to play more. So I'll probably put some more gameplay up on YouTube eventually of that and keep going with that. But yeah, that's all I got. The week ahead, I hopefully am going to Platinum Horizon over the weekend.
Okay.
As my goal.
Nerd.
Get that out of the way and free up the PS5 hard drive, and then it'll be time to move on to Cyberpunk after that. So I'm going in order, and then eventually I'll get to Dying Light 2. So Cyberpunk is next. Maybe this week I'll start on some of that.
By the way, I hope I get some more rain on Gran Turismo. It's fucking amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
when you drive in the in-car camera in the rain, it looks real.
Really?
The way that it moves off the windshield, the way that
that's awesome.
And you can even hear the rain. Like, you can hear it get louder. Like, that they went and recorded that, right? It's just like,
right.
It's awesome. The rain is awesome. They could work a little bit on how the tires work in the wet. I get that. That's hard to do, but I don't know. It's crazy.
Are you going to put any more footage up on the YouTube?
Eventually, if I can get it to work. I don't know if people want to watch me get a gold, decide I can do it faster, and then spend 30 minutes doing the same thing because I decided I could be half a second faster.
That's fair. Do the races. Do the races. Do the actual races.
Okay.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's get out of here. We've done enough. Well, if you guys enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, of course, and we'll get delivered to you every Monday. You don't even have to think about it. It'll just be there. Pop up a little notification. You just hit play. Fuck it. You don't have to worry about it. Be right there. All the PlayStation news for you. Also, if you would rate us, review us as well. Maybe leave us a thumbs up, some stars, hearts, whatever it is on your app. That'd be awesome. And finally, if you would share us with a friend or a loved one who you think may enjoy a PlayStation podcast where they can get everything newsworthy in less than 90 minutes. And also don't forget to hit us up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, blog. If you want to talk with us at the DualSense Pod. We'd love to hear from you, as we often do. And yeah, we'll get out of here. You guys have a great week. Take care, and we'll talk at you next time. Bye-bye.